What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy, Cly, and welcome to Budget Buys. Now, today I have something pretty interesting for you folks, and that is the Futz Cube. This is a knockoff Fidget Cube available at Five Below, or at least it will be soon. I don't even think it was supposed to be on sale when I got it. It's just kind of sitting in a cardboard box at the opposite end of the cash register counter, and yeah. Fortunately, my cashier was phoning it in, so when my girlfriend brought this over, they didn't even bat an eye when we went to buy it. Now, as I was saying, this is a knockoff Fidget Cube, and for those of you who have no idea what a Fidget Cube is, it's one of the big things when it comes to office toys right now. It's meant to help you focus. It actually had a really successful Kickstarter several months ago, one of the top funded. And basically, it's to help you use up your nervous energy. So instead of clicking on a pin, you're supposed to use that. I have one really nice thing to say about this at the start is I much prefer the name Futz Cube to Fidget Cube. Because if I think fidget, I'm thinking finger drumming, anything that you do with your hands, like, or heck, any part of your body. So if you shake your leg, drum your fingers like I'm really notorious for, or things like that, that's what I consider a fidget. Once you bring an item into the equation, I consider that futzing. Now, it's just a personal choice, personal speaking pattern, but yeah, I futz. Now, to prep for this video, before I unbox everything, I actually got kind of curious. I wanted to know the origin of the term futz. I didn't know if it was a regional thing in the US or whatnot. Turns out, fun fact of the day, it is believed to be a 1930s slang term from the Yiddish term Arumfatzen or Arumfatzen which translates to fart around. It's a fart cube. And there is your highbrow, lowbrow humor of the day. Let's go ahead and get into unboxing this. Oh, actually, before I do that, I have to talk about the box because there are a lot of knockoffs on the market right now. You can go on Amazon and pick them up from $2.50 to $15, and all of the ones that I've seen people make review videos of and even pictures of online, they all try to mimic the Fidget Cube packaging. They try to pass themselves off as legit. So the fact that we're not dealing with something trying to pass itself off as legit, instead this is the Futz Cube, completely emblazoned on the packaging and a completely different style box in general, high points. But then again, I think they had to do that since they were trying to sell it in stores versus online, so you have to be a little bit more strict about something coming off as a knockoff versus a counterfeit. So yeah, let's go ahead and reach over my microphone. I have the weirdest setup here. Grab that. Apologize for headphone users if I forget to edit that down in post. There we go. I did not mean to roll it like a die, but as a gamer, I'll allow it. And really, there's nothing else in here. No instructions, no carrying case, which is sad because there's plenty of room for a carrying case. But what do you expect for $5? I will say that. Let's just go ahead and toss this packaging aside. I don't need it anymore. There we go. So yeah, it's a pretty basic thing. It has all of the features that you're going to have on your standard Fidget Cube and Fidget Cube knockoffs, except there's some quality differences. Now, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but with the standard Fidget Cube, from what I was seeing, the top joystick is more of a glider switch, like what you would see on a 3DS or an old PSP. Here, you have more of a traditional analog stick. And it actually works quite well. I like it. It also has a swivel to it if you are into that sort of thing, so you can just roll your thumb across it. And one thing that I've seen with a lot of the counterfeits, if you click the stick in, it ain't gonna move. If you get one of the $2.50 counterfeits or $3 plus, you click, you're stuck. This one actually has a good bit of travel. The only counterfeit that I've seen, which admittedly I haven't done too much research, I should say, too many. The only knockoff / counterfeit that I have seen with this level of movement will cost you about $15. I believe it was called the Focus Cube. And the videos I saw, they were being naughty and trying to pass themselves off as an actual Fidget Cube. No. Futz Cube is where it's at. So yeah, the joystick, which is a big hang-up from a lot of people, from a lot of the comment sections that I've seen, it works just fine. The indentation is a little odd. It's not as much of an impression as I've seen on some others. It's just got that little lip. Take that as you will. Now, let's start with the spinner when it comes to the other sides. Why? Because I want to save my favorite for last. So on the spinner, you've just got a little, let's bring it in, little nubbins on top, slightly rounded, but does a good job spinning. It's actually very smooth. A lot of the counterfeits and knockoffs that I've seen, I really just need to stick to one of those words. I think I'll go with knockoffs. A lot of the knockoffs that I've seen are usually really hard to spin. So the fact that I have just got a nice, steady glide, I like it. It's actually really comfortable with the nub too. You can either stick your finger off to the side or do like I do and just use that as a pivot point. Very relaxing. Next up, we've got the buttons. This is a huge section of contention when it comes to knockoffs. You're supposed to have 3 normal buttons, which those are the normal clickies, and 2 muted buttons. Now, in some cases, they've been straight up dead buttons and not moving at all. But in this case, they do squish down. Let me just try to situate this in my hand so that I'm not hitting anything else. Pushes in quite nice. There's no loud noise or anything like that, and I know some of you are probably going to be like me and prefer the nice clickies, but I could see the appeal of this. If you're the kind of person who loves messing with a TV remote because of the nice, just kind of squishy buttons, I could see these 2 buttons being up your alley. Me, I like the nice clicky intermittent switches. I think that's the proper term. I can't remember right off the top of my head. All I know is I've got a ton of them in my parts bin, and I keep fearing that I'm going to wear them out because I just like doing this. It's fun. Now, the side with the tumblers. This is another one where you can tell the quality of whichever model you have. If you've got one of the very cheap knockoffs, you're going to have 0 sound and a ton of spin. Here, got a nice bit of click, nice bit of resistance. It feels like you're working a straight up style combination lock, standard bicycle lock or luggage lock, things like that. It actually does a really good job bringing that to the table. And once again, the only one that I've seen a review of that handles that level right there is about $15. Also, the ball bearing has a nice glide to it. With the cheaper ones, if you press, you tend to get it to squish in. Some people like that, some people don't. Personally, I like that I could just put a lot of pressure behind that and still roll it around without it indenting. You could use it as a mini massager or whatnot. I don't know, it just screams quality when you're able to press down and get a nice glide and even nice little spin action. And now my favorite. Why is this my favorite? Well, I am notorious for wearing out rocker switches just by doing this when I'm bored. It's nice and loud too. Some people don't like that because you wouldn't really be able to use it in class or an office environment, but it looks like it's being picked up on my mic. I love it. Well, okay, helps that I have a stereo mic, to be honest. I love that sound. I love that feeling. It feels like a proper intermittent switch. Well, no, toggle switch. That's the word. So many switches. It feels like a proper toggle switch. I've got quite a few of these in my parts bin as well. Also got one on my wood burner. And when the wood burner is unplugged, mind you, I find myself just rocking the switch back and forth, and I've always been afraid that I'm going to wear it out. Because, believe it or not, that kind of stuff does wear out. Hopefully not for several thousand operations, but they wear out. So now that I have something like this, I'm actually going to be using that a lot. Right there. Last but not least, we have the sort of worry stone style thing. It's a nice indentation on the bottom where you can take advantage of the coating on the plastic. Now, I was trying to do even more research like I did with the etymology of Futz back when I was planning this video, so I decided to dive in and see if I couldn't find the name for this coating. And yeah, there's a lot of different materials that can be used for this, from polymer, well, okay, they're pretty much all polymers, but the formulations and brand names are legion. I wouldn't say there's a crap ton of them, but there's definitely a cubic fart of them. Maybe 2 cubic farts even. So let's just go with the standard, off-the-cuff, very vague industry term for this type of feel, as they call it, the haptic profile of this plastic, and that would be velvety. It feels like you're running your thumb down a nice, soft piece of velvet. Without the drawbacks, because if anyone's actually done that and you try to go the opposite direction, the velvet fibers are just going to stand up straight and go, no. And it's going to be kind of a funky feel. Some people like it, some people don't. Personally, I'm in the don't like it camp. So the fact that I can just go back and forth on this and get the same kind of sensation, it's really nice. And now that I've gushed about this as much as I can, I'm going to go ahead and say for $5, it was worth my money. Because the name brand is about $30, and any of the knockoffs that hit this quality are going to cost you $10 to $15 unless you get lucky. And if you don't like this color, they had quite a few different ones available. I don't remember off the top of my head which ones I turned down. I just like this one because I thought it would show up on camera best, and it's a nice, understated aesthetic, which is my thing. And that's really all I've got for you. Let me try something weird for the end-slate / call to action. And that, my fine peepholes, is the Futz Cube, the first episode in Budget Buys, the series where I'm going to be taking a closer look at some of the different items I buy on the cheap. Not so much the thrifted items, like in that thrifting series, which you can find a link to around here somewhere, but the ones that I buy at retail, which are ridiculously low priced for what they are. And I want to find out why. I still actually want to find out why this one was so cheap, actually. The quality is pretty good, but it seems like they sourced it from the same manufacturer as some of the more expensive knockoffs of the Fidget Cube. Now, if you liked this video, leave a like. Let me know down below what you liked and, heck, what you didn't like. And if you actually feel like you didn't like certain things, leave me a dislike. I don't mind. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe, check out some of my other videos, and see what I've got kicking around. I'm going to try to make this at least a bi-weekly series, though I do have enough items stockpiled to do it weekly for at least a month or two. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, this is your guy Cly, signing off.